Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of All Things Lambda. No, this isn't a fever dream. I'm taking over for Mitch for this episode, as he is having some personal stuff going on that you may have seen on his Twitter. He should be back next week, but in the meantime, allow me to be your guide for this week's goings-on in the community. Mitch will still be here in spirit, and in Kermit the Frog plush form.
LambdaGeneration.
Half-Life Alyx has surpassed a milestone this week, according to SteamDB, as it has surpassed over 1 million copies sold. Even though that is only a third of what Doom Eternal sold, that is still really impressive considering how it requires VR, which most people assumed would hold back its sales, but apparently not. Granted, Valve stated that the game wasn't meant to make a lot of money, and also assumed that the market would be small, but it seems VR has proved itself to be of extraordinary value. Also in Half-Life Alyx news, Chapter 1 of the Half-Life Alyx soundtrack has been released onto Steam, Deezer, Spotify, and Apple Music, with plans to also release it on vinyl in the future. Now, it is only Chapter 1, with 11 other chapters to be released in the future. The reason it is going to take time is because in the game itself, the music is dynamic and changes depending on what is going on in the game. If just extracted normally, it would just sound like a mess of random orchestration, so to make it into a song that you can actually listen to, it basically has to be remixed into the form that is sold. Also, it's worth noting that the soundtrack available on Steam has to be bought. It is not free with the purchase of Half-Life Alyx. But since it had to be remixed, I think that's fair, especially since you can listen to it for free on Spotify. Links to all versions are in the description below. Crowbar Collective, the creators of Black Mesa Source, have recently released a strategy guide for Black Mesa, as well as an FAQ on their Discord. The latter, I thought I'd cover some of the more noteworthy ones here. When asked if they had plans to remake Opposing Force or Blue Shift, they said that they didn't, as other developer teams are already tackling that, and they are likely referring to Tripmine Studios in that response. Speaking of, back when Zen was first released, I personally asked some of the devs in their Discord VC how long they estimate it will take Tripmine Studios to finish their remakes, taking into account how long it took Black Mesa to be made, and they estimated that we may see those remakes in just a year or two, but that's just a prediction. I doubt Tripmine would agree with any unofficial estimate, so don't get your hopes up too much, just a little bit. Another question in the FAQ was whether there were plans to add in a VR mode to Black Mesa. They said that at one point they did have a VR developer working on it, but they came back to them and said that it wouldn't be a good idea with how Black Mesa is designed. Plus, it would require an even more massive overhaul of the game, with a new HUD having to be designed to reduce motion sickness, and unreasonably high quality textures so that things won't look blurry when observed closely. Of course, if you don't mind blurry textures, and if you have a stockpile of Dramamine like I do, then there's nothing stopping you from modding the game yourself for VR. But do note that they also said they currently have no plans to allow Gmod to mount Black Mesa, so you'd have to develop a whole new mod instead of just using VR mod. The rest of the FAQ can be found on their Discord, and a link to the strategy guide can be found in the description below. Half-Life 2 Classic, the demake of Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 1's Gold Source engine, is now hiring more developers to help work on the game. The one Epic player, the lead developer, didn't specify what types of positions are needed, so I guess if you just have general Gold Source experience, try helping them out. Application forms are provided both on their ModDB page and in the description below. We have a couple of Source Filmmaker project news to round this week off. First, Joe Johnston of Pinwheel Arts has released a trailer for a new episode of his Half-Life Source Filmmaker series. It is scheduled to release on May 16th at 8:47 Mountain Time, which, if you're a Half-Life lore god like me, you'd know is the exact time Gordon Freeman boarded his tram on the exact day of the Resonance Cascade. And hey, that means this Saturday is Half-Life Day, so celebrate with your head crabs or something. Last but not least, YouTuber Sepco already released a really cool Source Filmmaker short, It's Only Half-Life, which is 7 months in the making. It reimagines some scenes throughout the Half-Life series, however this includes Half-Life Alyx in the ending, so please beware of spoilers. The cinematography and music creates this trippy atmosphere that I think was really cool. A link to this video can be found in the description below. You know what else is trippy and cool? Our social medias! Links to the LambdaGen Twitter and LambdaGen subscribe button are down below, as well as the official LambdaGen Discord and website. I am the LochNessMobster, and a link to my YouTube is down below as well, where I mostly do Half-Life lore when I get around to it, but now that school is over I should be able to do that more. Again, Mitch will be back next time, but in the meantime, please give him some love on Twitter, and we'll see you in the next episode. This probably isn't the last you'll see of me, though.